Look, at a certain point, you have to accept these are the rules, either respect and obey them, or go somewhere else. Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about that new YouTube age verification thing that's going into effect, the ID check. Even though from what I've seen, I just need to confirm, but it says you can either use a selfie, a credit card, or your ID. Now, I've seen a lot of fear mongering about it. Alright, I'm on the official YouTube blog. Yeah, it says right here, option to verify with a credit card or a government ID. I believe I saw something about the submitting a selfie video. Okay, nothing on the official YouTube blog about it, but I promise you I've seen something about that. Of course, there's a lot of fear mongering going on with it. I mean, look at my YouTube homepage here. This channel's kept on coming up for quite a while about the whole YouTube ID verification. You know, before I go on about how this reminds me of the coppa fear-mongering from 2019, please give this video a like if you enjoy it. Comment what you think about all this. If you're completely against this, I can understand. But what I'm trying to explain is it'll eventually just be part of what we do. I can understand hesitancy around an ID because you can't just change the information on that the way you could with, say, a credit card if it got out in a data leak. Don't forget to subscribe for daily videos of cultural commentary from a man caught between generations. And be sure to join the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord at the link in the description below. But getting back on point, yeah, I can understand the hesitancy to an extent. I have seen the Tim Pool videos about how the ID is actually stored instead of just looked at by the person at the front of, say, an adult bookstore or a club or anywhere else where you have to be above a certain age to get in. Or if you're going to an R-rated movie and you happen to look under the age of 17, that's the minimum age. As I learned from working at the movie theater, 16 and under must be accompanied by 18 or older. 17-year-olds can bring themselves. 18 and over, they can go in, though if they look younger, they are likely to ask for ID. And again, this is for R-rated movies. Again, the rule is 17 or older. That's what the R rating is for. I'm not going to repeat the age brackets for that. But let me put it to you this way as well. It's not as big a deal where if you're obviously an adult with an R-rated movie, they aren't going to challenge you. I mean, when I was 21, me and my friends went to see Deadpool 2. One of them was 16 at the time, so it was my friend who was 18 at the time. I was 21 at the time. So we were three guys, 21, 18, and 16. Deadpool 2 is an R-rated movie. So, since I was 21 at that point, I was like, okay, I'm prepared to be the accompanying adult for my friend's brother. And his mom was okay with him going to see an R-rated movie, just to be clear. But when we got to the theater and we presented our tickets, they didn't give us a hard time. I don't know if it was the younger friend seemed like an adult to them, or they could clearly see that I was with them. For context, the older one has complained about how he looks a little young according to other people. But yeah, both of them came with me. We presented our tickets. They didn't ask any questions. They just let us on right through. I just realized I forgot to talk about the coppa fear mongering, so here's a refresher. Back in 2019, YouTube was starting to add the whole coppa requirement, which, for those of you who don't upload videos here, you have to label whether it's made for kids or not made for kids, meaning specifically made for kids or specifically not made for kids, or I guess you could say just made for adults as your target audience. But anyway, what you got? All that really happened after all the fear mongering about it is you have to just select one or the other, or set the default for your upload defaults to one or the other. That's it. That's literally all there is to it. Now, this is a little different because it affects literally anyone using it in any capacity, because there is a level of it affects anyone who uses it because it uses AI to infer whether or not you are an adult or not. This is different because it uses AI to infer whether the user is an adult, and if it suspects you of not being an adult, they basically lock you out of age-restricted videos and such until you are verified to be an adult one way or another. I can understand it's a little different, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's going to end up not being a big deal. Again, you have a variety of options for how to verify. Personally, again, the ID, I wouldn't worry. I can understand being worried about IDs when it comes to the risk of a data leak, because you can't change the information on that as easily. It's still technically possible, it's just a lot more complicated than the credit card method. Yeah, I'm just going to confirm and verify if there's a selfie option. Alright, according to 9 to 5 Google, there is a verification selfie method. It says that the card linking is the least invasive. But I have to ask, what's wrong with the selfie one? I mean, dating apps have been using those for quite some time. Why would we worry about... you comment down below why you think the selfie might not be the best idea. Personally, I'm not against it, but that may be due to the fact that I'm constantly uploading video footage of myself to that website anyway, which is publicly available. So I'm going to be honest, I personally am more than happy to use the selfie feature because I'm already publishing my face on YouTube, not for anything confidential, but for public viewing. So that's a different story. Again, I would just choose the least invasive method if you get flagged as being underage by this AI tool. Look, at a certain point, you have to accept these are the rules, either respect and obey them or go somewhere else. I'm not thrilled by that, but these are the facts. This is what it takes to watch on YouTube and all of that. As I've said in previous videos, I'm going to say it again. If you're not willing to play by the rules, then you probably have to find something else to do. Look, I'd be more than happy to crap on this all day, but at a certain point, we have to accept this is reality, this is what we can do, and this is what we can't do. We can't change Google's mind that easily because they happen to have all of the backing, and they've got to do this in by law in other countries anyway. And kind of like with Apple switching the iPhone to USB-C in markets outside the European Union, where USB-C or a common charging port was mandated for every electronic that charges through a port by the end of 2024. Google has to probably make it easier for themselves by making it so every country has to do it. They just do it for everyone across the board. They don't have to create an infrastructure just for one country or another. Again, I think the government ID is going a little too far. I mean, it's one thing for if you're getting monetized as a creator. I hear you have to submit some kind of government ID for that. That's a different story. It's a different setup. Again, I understand needing to make sure that needing to follow the law in one particular country. And that's why they have a variety of options. So if you think the ID is too invasive, you're going to have to pick one or the other. You're either going to have to upload the video selfie, which if you tell people that you like to watch YouTube, I don't see why that's a big deal. The payment method, that's a little more invasive, but we link payment methods to pretty much anything that requires to be some kind of payment anyway. And hey, it's a lot easier to change, it's a lot easier to cancel one of those and then get a new one a lot more easily than a government issued ID with your address on it, where you will have to change your address if that comes out. And that is a lot harder than than canceling a debit or credit card and then getting a new one. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here for the video. I just wanted to talk about this and I wanted to push back against the fear mongering to some extent. Yes, it is what it is. But like I said, you gotta play by the rules, or you gotta go somewhere else. I'm sorry, that's just a hard reality. Don't forget to give this video a like, or if you want to downvote it because of all that, anything I said, I'd rather you leave a comment explaining why I'm wrong so I can better understand why the selfie verification is invasive. But again, we're just going to have to accept it. We can voice our dissent on this. But again, we have to either play by the rules or go somewhere else. Don't forget to subscribe for daily videos of cultural commentary from a man caught between generations. Let's keep the conversation going at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.